Well, if you're into D&D, you're in the right spot. Almighty and welcome back to the channel. And like always, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here. So today, I want to talk about homebrewing rules and my top 5 things that I use. And a few of them are something that I think are universal, everybody uses, but it's something I use and it's pretty much a big part of my games. So without further ado, hit that intro. All right, so for me, the first thing I always change, my number one, homebrew little thing that I do is leveling up. Now, I talked about this in a past video, and I'm going to talk about it again right now. The way I level up my party is at the end of the session, I just level everybody up. So everybody either goes up a level or 2 levels. I like it better to be balanced. I like my parties to just be at the same level. And, at some point, regardless, certain characters, certain classes will pull ahead. But at least they'll all be on, equal playing ground. They'll all be level 5s. They'll all be level 6. They'll all be level 10s. It's just something I like to do. Don't get me wrong. In the middle of a game, if it comes up, we will level up in the middle of the game. If we fought a big monster, if they skipped ahead and just fought the dragon or whatever it is that was end content, and they end up fighting it an hour into the game, then that's perfectly fine. We will stop and level up if we have to. But I usually like to do this at the end of the game just to give it, that flow, where there's not stopping and, let's all level up. Because that could take some time, especially for wizards or spellcasters, just picking their, extra spells now and cantrips or whatever it is. It could be real time consuming in the middle of a game, especially because usually my party anyways, we take a break in the middle to eat, or whatever. And, a couple hours in, we'll usually stop and order pizza or whatever it is. And, that's a break. So going on straight from that, my number 2 is monster levels. Now, with the same thing as leveling up, why I'm able to keep my party at one certain level throughout the game is my monsters are leveled to my players. Now, this is something I feel every good DM should be using, and I'm pretty sure most good DMs are using. I've never played with another DM. I am the eternal DM with my party, and it's just something I've always done. Oh, this dude's a challenge rating 19 with my level 2 party, but I want to have fun and show off this cool new mini I got. Well, now he's a challenge level 3, I bring the monsters to my party's level, or give them stuff that they can handle. And I just don't like the restrictions of, well, this monster's way too powerful for the party, I can't throw it against them. If it's something cool and interesting, ain't no monster or dragon or anything gonna worry about, oh, I wonder if this guy's the same level as me. If you play the game the way it's supposed to be played, where you're putting yourself into this world, there's no monster that's ever gonna just be like, oh my god, I'm not gonna kill that guy, he's a level 1, I'm level 27. No, he's gonna kill you, he's gonna eat you in one gulp. So for me, I just level down everything. And it gives my players something cool to talk about if there was a cool monster. And it just really, for me, that brings the fun to the game. And that's what this game's all about, is having a great time playing with your friends and, eating some good food and just having a good time. So next up for me is movement. And now this is one that I know everybody uses movement at some point. And I started off as Theater of the Mind. Now, if you guys have never played Theater of the Mind and only played with somebody with minis or anything, which is some of my new players have only played with minis and terrain and, battle mats, my older players know that I used to love playing Theater of the Mind, where everything happened, with nothing on the table. Just us sitting around a table and having a good time, just making everything up as we go along, which I kind of miss, realistically. I love all the miniatures I have. I love all the battle mats and terrain I make and all that good stuff. I love this stuff. But I also do miss, the roots of how I used to play and how a lot of people play. just getting back to that. So I went off on a tangent there. Movement. So if you don't use battle mats and all that, movement's not really a thing, like you can describe where you're at in the room, but from what I remember is, it wasn't that long ago when I started getting miniatures and stuff. Movement is not really that big of a deal. And that's the way I use it now, even with my battle mats and 1-inch squares. That's why some of my terrain, I don't even add the squares and stuff. It just kind of boom, just here it is, boom, here it is. Have a good time, because nobody's gonna be restricted in a fight, like wherever you're at, have some walls, close the doors. They can't go that far. You know what I mean? So it seems really dumb to me to have to count out, 30 feet, 40 feet for players, it just does. It's, for me, that's not realistic. That's not putting yourself into the game when you have certain restrictions. And you have restrictions no matter what. As a human, I can't run 30 feet. I'm a big dude. I'm just playing. But, it's just, if you're running for your life, 30 feet is not that far, especially when you have a 80-foot monster in front of you, it's just one of those things where I don't like the movement mechanic. And it's not even that it's like a flawed mechanic or it's bad mechanic. It's just something I don't use. I've never had anybody, abuse this, because at the end of the day, I'm the DM. And even if I don't use movement whatsoever, you could move 1,000,000 feet if you want. I can still do the same thing for that monster. So you want to run 1,000,000 feet away, well, the monster's right there. He teleported over there. It's so easy to fix the issues that you would have, or I don't even bring this up. I don't even talk about it. So it's just something that happens at the table, and my players don't take advantage of this, and it's not like they should or they shouldn't. It just, we're in that moment. You're not really thinking like, whoa, what's the best way? He doesn't count movement, All my players are new. They've all learned through me, and it's just one of those things. So next up, hold on. Magic weapons. Now, magic weapons, and this is one of those things where this is everybody. We all make up our own magic weapons, and that's just something I feel that, yeah, it's super simple, super easy to come up with something, on the fly. A poison dagger, a electrocution sword, flame swords, or, that's not even making it up. It's something in the game. It's just super easy to give, your players. Just remember that when you come up with these magic weapons, level them up with your players. You don't have to do it every level, because it's going to get really overpowered if you give them a D6 every time they level up. But, give them something special, give them a special attack. That's usually what I do, is one of my things is lightning bolts, where it's, for a crossbow, they're low bolts, they're lightning, and then they'll have once they level up with these bolts or whatever, these bolts that they can make are special bolts that they only have, they can, learn a new trick with it. What is it? I think one of them, the lightning bolts have a lightning surge or a thunder shock, something like that, where, a big bolt of lightning and it's more damage, instead of doing 2d6, this does 3d8 damage, and these abilities level up with my players. Every so many levels, they'll get an extra d6 or a d8, or it'll move up from d6s to d8s or d8s to d10s, So it's just something like that those are fun. They're really easy to do, and it's something for your party members to look forward to. Now, my last one, number 5, is going to be the I'll allow it. Now, this is one that every DM uses, and if you don't use it, put it in your bag now, because this is going to be your number one tool as a dungeon master, is knowing what to allow and what not to allow. And for me, in this book right here, it tells you none of the rules in this book should ever hinder your fun. Should never come in conflict with you guys enjoying your time. And now this isn't like a big homebrew thing. This is not something that, you know, everybody has to figure out. It's something that happens in your game that, you know, it may not be what this character can do. It may not be something that, you know, like something like my movement thing. Like, this comes down to you as a DM allowing your players to have fun. You know, make a memory, you know, make something that everybody's going to talk about tomorrow or that night after the game. Because that's one of my favorite parts about playing D&D is after the game, when we're all, you know, outside having a beer or smoking a cigarette, whatever it is, at the end of the game, everybody talking about what happens. And you can always tell a good session by if they're talking about what happened in the game or we're talking about something else. You know, so that's one of those things where you have to allow your players, your, you know, table, just to have a good time. If it's against the rules, but that'll be cool, I'll allow it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know my homebrew rules are not really like homebrewy rules a lot. They're just things I do in my game, and hopefully, you know, give you a little hint if you're new and you're looking to DM your first game. Just something to think about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Catch you in the next one.